So this is where we start. Errol Lewis is with me, CNN political commentator and political anchor of Spectrum News. Crystal Ball, executive director of the People's House Project, and Betsy McCaughey, former Republican lieutenant governor of New York. Welcome to all of you. Lieutenant Governor, just first up to you. I mean, we played the sound, former, current intel chiefs all on the same page. Yes, Russia meddled. No one is stuttering over this, it seems, other than the White House. Why is the White House not coming out and saying, yes, definitively, Russia did it?
I think what the White House is concerned about is the hindsight fallacy, the innuendo that because the hacking occurred and then President Trump won the election, that somehow he was involved in the hacking or illegitimately benefited from the hacking. If Mrs. Clinton had won, I guess the question is, would people be saying, President Clinton, what was your role in encouraging or benefiting from this hacking?
So you're saying that the White House maybe feels like, talking about it, feels like it would undermine his victory.
His legitimacy, exactly.
But he won, and it's fact that they meddled, so why doesn't he just come out with it?
That doesn't mean that the president was involved in the hacking, approved of the hacking, or even benefited numerically, that somehow the hacking increased his victory in some way. All we know so far from the testimony is that the hacking occurred. So let's not fall victim to the hindsight fallacy.
Okay, but you say the hacking occurred. Crystal Ball?
The hacking occurred.
The hacking occurred.
We should remember, too, that this president did publicly, now he claimed it was a joke, he did publicly call on the Russians to hack into Hillary Clinton's emails, so let's keep that in mind. But it really is astonishing that this president, according to Betsy's comments, and I think this is right, is more interested in saving face than in protecting our democracy. I mean, former Director Comey said that they were here and they will be back. We have elections ongoing. We have to figure out not only what happened, but what we can do to protect ourselves in jurisdictions across the country. And it is shocking, no matter what you think of whether this president colluded and his campaign and all of that, it is shocking that this president is not more concerned about a fundamental attack on our democracy.
I want you to respond to that. Saving face. And then Errol.
Yes, I don't think that's the issue. The real issue
Isn't that
here
what you just pointed out, the saving face?
Yes, but the real issue here is the word that was just used, collusion. In other words, there's a difference between saying a foreign government attempted to interfere with the election and linking it somehow to illegitimate, illegal, even impeachable actions by a president.
But I don't think anyone's sitting here and linking it to collusion, and that's why we have a lot of different people investigating all of this. That's what we're talking about. We're specifically talking about. Hang on, we're not. I'm just asking. I'm trying to stay on point on the meddling specifically, and in that case, that is fact. You've admitted to it. So I think the point from Crystal is, it just seems like the president is trying to save face when really the priority should be democracy and saying, yes, Russia did it.
Well, there are many hearings going on and investigations into the hacking. I don't think that's what the president's concerned about. Let's all admit that there is this, quote, resistance going on, this effort by the Democratic Party to somehow delegitimize, obstruct, sabotage the Trump administration. You hear Chuck Schumer talk about it all the time.
They don't need our help. They're doing it all on their own.
On the resist note, let me just play a little mashup, and then Errol will talk on the other side. This is on a multitude of subjects. Sean Spicer with a very similar response.
I have not asked the president since the last time we spoke about this. And I haven't spoken to him on it about the reason. I don't know. I honestly haven't asked him that specific question. I said I have not had a discussion with him on the question. I haven't talked to the president specifically about this. Yeah, I have not had an opportunity to have that discussion. I have not asked him. I have not asked the president. I haven't asked him. Okay. I can get back to you.
Okay, so we've all been to the White House. We know that the press briefing room is it's like a stone's throw from the Oval Office. We know that Sean Spicer communicates with the president. So what's up with those responses?
Well, maybe if we give him another 120 days, maybe it'll come up. I think the answer here is just what you alluded to before, which is that politically the White House hasn't decided to take the lead on this. It is a little bit shocking. One would expect them to. On the other hand, they have a lot of different options. They could ask Congress to look into it. They could do a little blame sharing, frankly, with the prior administration. It's a little startling to hear Jay Johnson sort of talk about all of this going on his watch. One wonders why something didn't happen before Election Day. And it would be fair to raise all of these issues. The reality is, for all of us, forward, you cannot leave it to a politician who's feeling a little bit nervous. You can't leave it to Democrats who want to take back the House. We really have to collectively decide what the standard will be the next time this happens. We don't want anybody to keep this a secret.
Well, let's hone in on the Democrats, and let me play part of this exchange. This is between Jay Johnson and also I believe this is Senator Angus King, back and forth over why didn't the Democrats want the help on the hacking. Here you go.
With the benefit of hindsight, perhaps I should have camped out at the front door of the headquarters of the DNC. But at the time, knowing what we knew and wrestling with all of the considerations we had, I can tell you that this was very much a top priority for me. I was not pleased that we were not in there helping them patch this vulnerability.
Why did the Democrats not want the help?
I have no idea. I mean, I think you have to chalk it up to incompetence. They just didn't seem to take it seriously at first. And I would also say that I found Jay Johnson's testimony to be fairly defensive, because I think people are going to start to raise the question of, this was all going on the last administration's watch. Why didn't we know more, and why didn't we do more? And we know partly from the president's perspective, he didn't want to say more about what was going on because he was afraid of the politics of it. He didn't want to seem like he was jumping into this messy election where Donald Trump was claiming it was rigged and putting his finger on the scale. But ultimately, I don't know that that was the right call in terms of people being really
it's
aware
not
of what was
like,
going
and this was
on.
brought up in the back and forth, that it's not like it was some Republican administration looking to try to impede, and the DNC said no.
No, not at all. I mean, it was a vulnerability that, among all of the other issues that they had to deal with, I mean, it's possible that this was part of the same bundle of overconfidence that led to their defeat in certain states where they said, oh, we've got Wisconsin, oh, we always Pennsylvania, oh, not a problem in Michigan.
We know what we're doing on this computer stuff.
I
right?
think they're all
We don't
pretty
need to
sure
FBI.
on
are fine,
overconfidence.
don't get excited. And this was a case where, the organizational management classes are taught about this all the time, about when an important piece of really vital information can't make it to the top, to the decision makers.
Yep.
You've got a broken organization, and you can have catastrophic results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Betsy and Crystal and Errol, thank you.